Hey everyone, welcome back to another problem with video. Today I want to talk about Wally West, the Flash, and how they ruined him, and then saved him, and then ruined him, and then they saved him, and then they ruined him. And I want to introduce you to our new co-host. My co-host went to sleep. Dan took too long to film this, but this is my co-host. Her name is Fang, and I gave her a seat at the table. She had a whole bunch of thoughts about the Flash, but I guess we'll have to find out next time. Won't we, Fang? Yep. Okay. Cool. So in order to understand all of my complaints with Wally West and see if you agree or disagree with me and my thoughts on Wally West, we have to go back to the beginning, but don't worry, I'm not going to jump super far back like I've done in many of these videos. Now, in 1959, it was decided that Barry Allen needed a sidekick, and the introduction of Wally West was brought in. This is that era when every superhero was getting a sidekick, and DC was doing a great job of it, because they thought if a superhero had a sidekick, the kids that are reading the comic books could relate to the sidekick. So Wally was brought in for that role. As the years went on, Wally aged up with the rest of the sidekicks, joining up for the Teen Titans, which eventually became the Titans. He teamed up with Dick Grayson. They grew up together. They were the best of buds. Eventually, Barry Allen sacrificed himself in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I think that's the one I kind of mixed the names up a little bit, but I believe it's Crisis on Infinite Earths is the one where Barry Allen sacrificed himself. We then got 20 years of Wally growing from Kid Flash to being the Flash, dealing with his own mental trauma of losing his mentor, dealing with the fact that he felt he could never surpass Barry Allen, but finding a way to do so, moving forward and becoming the Flash, a legacy character, becoming the new hero, proper progression for the DC universe. Barry Allen properly sacrificed himself, so Wally West took over. And then Wally West was allowed to age and grow. He started off teaming up with the Teen Titans or the Titans or Dick Grayson, and they were doing all kinds of stuff together. But eventually he met Linda Park, and then eventually he had two of his own kids. Now I've always said Ray, but apparently some people got upset with my pronunciations and think that I give a but it's Irie. But I just wanted to throw that out there real quick because I'm probably going to say Ray on the few times that I'm going to bring her up. Anyway, he had two kids, Ray and Jai. And basically, Irie, whatever you want to say, was supposed to be Iris Jr., but they came up with a different way to say it so that she wouldn't be mixed up. That's what it all boils down to, and I've known that forever. Just Irie has never existed in like, as far as I know, in proper like television. No one said her name, but anyway. Moving forward, Wally was allowed to have a wife, have kids. He began to progress as a person, and he began to grow up, and he matured, and he was becoming the Flash, and for many people, was just the Flash. Barry Allen was a relic of the past, a guy who sacrificed himself, and he didn't matter in the current day and age. And then eventually the New 52 happened. Now, if you've watched a few of these videos, you know that the New 52 caused a lot of problems for the legacy characters, such as Wally, because it was decided that Jeff Johns and Jim Lee and everybody in charge at the time liked Barry Allen, so they decided to bring back Barry Allen. Now, the first problem with Wally West was the way that they decided to reintroduce him into the universe. During the period of the New 52, it was decided that we would get a new Kid Flash, and that this new Kid Flash would be black. That they were going to change up a few things and basically get more diversity into the DC universe. And Wally West was one of the characters that got swapped over, which caused a large outcry from the classic fans, because we went from a ginger to black Wally, or African American Wally. And while that's not a problem, that's 100% not the same character. They created a new character, which again, isn't a problem. I actually like Wallace, which was the fix for this eventually. They eventually decided that we needed to bring back classic Wally, so Wally that we had created in the New 52 became Wallace West and was allowed to grow as his own character, which I love him as a character now. He's one of my favorite Kid Flashes, and right now, if you're reading the comics, he's been teaming up with Impulse, and the two of them have such differing personalities, it's awesome. And we got back Wally West in DC Rebirth, and they tried to make sense of it. It was weird. They were both Wally, but they weren't Wally. But like, oh, actually, Wallace was from another side of the family that no one spoke about. It was really wonky for a couple of issues where they tried to make sense of it. It got as confusing as when they tried to make sense of New 52 Superman and Convergent Superman. And they were like, well, just combine them into one person. It'll make total sense. Superman's going to go inside of the other Superman. Anyway, that's a story for another day. DC Rebirth brought back red-headed Wally, and what they decided to do was bring him back with a new costume, which I actually liked. I really liked the DC Rebirth costume for Wally, because it allowed you to have Barry and Wally side by side, and they were easier to tell apart, because right now the only difference is Wally's costume has no eyes, or pupils, and Barry's costume has pupils. And Wally's is dark red, while Barry's is normal red. And you know what? When you put them side by side, I can tell the difference. But when they're not side by side, it's just the Flash. Wally then became kind of back. They did a weird story arc in DC Rebirth where Wally had been removed from the timeline by what was supposed to be Dr. Manhattan. But the Doomsday Clock storyline had pretty much heavily delayed problems with that. And so a lot of the storylines that were going to be revealed as being altered by Dr. Manhattan had to come up with other plot points. Jor-El was brought back in the Superman storyline as Mr. Oz, even though heavy rumors indicate that Mr. Oz was supposed to be Ozymandias. Well, Wally was supposed to have been removed by Dr. Manhattan, according to the heavy rumors. But because Doomsday Clock was getting so heavily delayed and they didn't want to spoil things in Doomsday Clock in the other books, the decision was that they would change it up. I believe the villain was Abracadabra. A random old school Titans villain was the reason why the Titans were disassembled and why Wally was removed from the timeline. Wally then went through a really weird and quirky period in which he was like a stalker, but not. Like he was following Linda around and they were trying to make it seem like this like lovesick romantic thing. He missed his kids, he missed his wife, he wanted that back. So because of his PTSD from losing Linda, being removed from the timeline, losing his family, friends, everybody, he was sent to the location of Heroes in Crisis. Now, Heroes in Crisis has been lambasted as one of the problems with DC. I don't think it was inherently a problem. The idea that a lot of the superheroes you haven't seen in a while are dealing with PTSD from things that they've gone through is actually a nifty one in my opinion, and I think it could have been a very good storyline. The problem is it almost did a full character assassination to the Wally West that we just brought back. So DC Rebirth happened between 2016 and it lasted until about the end of 2017, and for the most part, Wally was around, but not really around. And a lot of us Wally fans were getting excited because Barry was still going off doing the Flash book, and Wally was popping up in Titans Rebirth. He was being a part of the Titans. He was looking for Linda. He was trying to reassemble his family. He had his own journey he was going on, which was very exciting. But then in September 2018, Heroes in Crisis started. And the general idea was that there was a massive problem over at the house that superheroes would go to deal with PTSD anonymously. And it was Wally losing control of his powers, and he killed everyone, including one of his friends, Arsenal. Now, to make it even worse for his character, I've made a whole video where I said your version of a character is the version that we all look to. Like, with Wally's the same deal. Your favorite run might be the Mark Waid run, or maybe the Jeff Johns run, and that version of Wally is different from the other version of Wally. But there is one thing that I will agree with superheroes. Generally speaking, certain superheroes, like Spider-Man or Wally or the Flash or even Green Lantern, traditionally only do the right thing. There's some core concepts that go into some characters, and some of them is like, well, this is the edgy, brooding character. Deadpool might not be the most trustworthy character, but at the end, he's always going to come back around and save the day. While Batman might not trust the family, but he'll always come to learn that he needs to trust the family. Wally will always do the heroic action in the end. That's kind of one of his things. So you can have Wally's behavior to Linda or the Titans or the rest of the Flash family be different based on your writer. But one of the core tenets of Wally is that he's the heroic Flash. He's one of the super heroic ones. Barry sacrificed himself. Wally's heroic. The Flash family's a bunch of heroic guys that always do the right thing. And the problem is with Heroes in Crisis, Wally killed a bunch of people and then tried to blame Harley Quinn and Booster Gold and tried to redirect the murder mystery to blame them and put them in prison so that Wally could fix the situation. It just, very rarely do I state things like, that was out of character, but that was out of character for Wally because it wasn't heroic. There was nothing at the end of the day that would turn around and make Wally be the hero. That was just Wally doing things that wouldn't line up with any version of Wally. So a lot of people hated Heroes in Crisis for that exact point. And they hated what Wally became. At the time, Titans Rebirth, I think, was coming to an ending, and Wally was kind of off doing other things. And Wally vanished on that high note. He blamed other people for the murder. So we had gotten Wally back in 2016. We dealt with the whole issue with Wallace. That was dealt with. We're good with that. We went to Rebirth, brought back proper Wally. Him and Wallace worked out their differences. He was being a Titan. He was starting to work on Linda. And then he was a murderer. How do you come back from that? Well, we went to another storyline, which I believe is called Flash Forward. I'll link it down below, whatever it is. But it's a 6-issue storyline in which Wally is pulled into the dark multiverse by Tempest Fugonaut. DC was trying to make their own version of the Beyonder, and so they were like, Tempest Fugonaut. Anyway, Tempest Fugonaut took Wally and brought him into the dark multiverse, where he went through a couple of worlds and had kind of cool adventures. Like he fought against Vampire Batman and stuff like that. Well, it ended with Wally being put into the Heroes in Crisis moment, the moment that changed Wally and kind of ruined him. And for the record, he was in prison, by the way, at the beginning of this. So just to tell you how far he fell, he was in Iron Heights paying for killing people. So he got pulled out of prison, brought into the dark multiverse, went through this adventure, and it ended with him finding his kids. I think that was the storyline where he found his kids, or it might be the next storyline. It's not going to matter, because what happens is in Heroes in Crisis, what he does is he goes back and discovers he did not kill people. He, in fact, was there, and it was a Speed Force power because Savitar, not your TV show version, but the real Savitar, which totally looks different, Savitar showed up, and he's the one that had the Speed Force explosion. But then he zipped out of there. No one knew that he was there, and Wally got blamed, and even Wally thought that's what happened. So what happened is Wally discovered he didn't actually kill everyone, and he got to apologize to Arsenal and have final moments and say his goodbyes to all these people. So awesome. We gave the excuse for Wally. And then, I don't know if it was the same storyline or the next, and it honestly doesn't matter, but Wally then got the God of Knowledge chair from Mobius. I think it's Mobius, but he became the God of Knowledge, Blue Flash God Wally West. And he used that as a way to save Giant Eye Ray, who he had discovered were lost in the time stream, so his kids were coming back. And he then fixed things with Linda by restoring her memories. So Wally got Linda, the kids, back. He was exonerated. I think I said the word right, but he was cleaned of his crimes. Exonerated? Exonerated. That's the word. And so he was good. Everything's good with Wally. Then Barry's storyline came to its conclusion. Joshua Williamson wrapped up his storyline over there, which left the Flash book with an opening. Jeremy Adams came in and started writing a story about Wally, where he got a job working for Mr. Terrific, and the book was about what Wally was about. Being heroic, saving people, and going on adventures with his wife and his kids. And it was a great Wally West book. Wally had finally been redeemed and been given the titled character of the Flash comic. It was perfect. We fixed Wally. And I wish this is where I could end the video. Everyone, we fixed him. Fang, your favorite Flash is back. It's good. You'll wake up one day. We're good to go. Wally's back. So Wally went on a great storyline in which it was all by himself. Now, Jeremy Adams also concluded his run. There's a few more stories afterwards, which are also warm-hearted. They're great. Got great comedy moments. The whole stuff's great. But he kind of concluded his run with the 1 Minute War. And the 1 Minute War did two things to finalize fixing Wally and killing him. So Wally dies in 1 Minute War. He's disintegrated, but he's saved at the last second by Gold Beetle, which is the far-flung future version of the kids of Ted Kord and Booster Gold or something weird like that. I forget the overall backstory of her. Pretty sure Ted Kord and Booster Gold don't have a kid together. Maybe it's their kids have a kid together. I don't know how biology works. But anyway, we got Gold Beetle, and Gold Beetle's in the future. And Gold Beetle is going to be the wife or girlfriend of Jai, which is Wally's son. So Gold Beetle goes back in time and is kind of dealing with Wally off and on. In 1 Minute War, she saves Wally right before he's going to die. But we are given the fake out that Wally has died. So that happened 6 months ago, maybe 7. Wally died. Keep in mind, Wally has become the God of Knowledge. He has died. He became a prisoner. He became a murderer. He was removed from existence, and he was a stalker. And we had like a year of just Wally with his kids. We had a year of proper Wally. And in 1 Minute War, he died. But they also saved everyone that Wally thought he had killed, but it turned out to be Savitar in Heroes in Crisis. So Heroes in Crisis at this point has been totally retconned out of existence because Gold Beetle saved everyone. Wally came back, saved the day. Everything's good to go. We continued on with our adventures. And then they announced Jeremy Adams, the guy who finally wrote proper Wally for a year, is leaving the book. Now, Tom Taylor, I'm a fan of Tom Taylor. I'd say I enjoy probably 70 to 80% of his writings. Awesome. One of my favorite writers. Generally, I like his stuff that's out of continuity because he's free reign to kill whoever he wants and do whatever he wants. That's cool. I'm on board with that. His in-continuity stuff, I've not really been a huge fan of, but I really like his Nightwing. And in his Nightwing, he had Wally show up and the Titans, and now he's going to write the Titans. He kicked off issue 1 like 2 weeks ago. Link in the video is going to be down below. He killed Wally. Now, Wally's going to survive, but they quicksilvered Wally. He died to a bullet. How does a speedster die to a bullet? Even the excuse in the comic is flimsy. Well, he came up behind me and shot me out of the blue. What? And then in the book he explains, I could have phased, I could have done this. Instead, I said goodbye to Linda. Huh? What are you doing? Why can't they just let Wally be happy with his kids? Why? We've already got Flash #1 coming out conveniently the same month as the movie, in which he's going to be back to normal. So we already know they're bringing him back to life. Why even do this fake out? Why not do Titans 1 and kill Tempest? Yeah, there's a guy named Tempest, Garth. It's the Aqua lad that we all forget exists because they've made so many others. He's a thing. They go say hi to him, and he's like, "Oh, Nightwing, I have to protect the oceans. You do your thing. I will do my thing. You forgot I existed? Don't worry. 90% of the population did as well." It doesn't make any sense. But I don't understand how you can say, because this video, I planned this video 2 weeks ago, and then I was like, well, I got to do the Zeb Wells Spider-Man run, which I did my reactions to the revealed information, and I'm going to do a full video of it next week once that actually comes out and we see what happens. But that got in the way. This video was supposed to come out last week, and I hadn't read Titans #1 yet. So the video was supposed to end with, they fixed Wally. Wally's got his wife. He's got his kids. The problem with Wally West is that there is no problem anymore. No, the problem is Wally's a freaking punching bag. It took us like, how was it, 2016 to 2022 to get him back to normal, heroic Wally, having adventures with his kids and his wife. And now we're in 2023, and Tom Taylor's like, you had a year. Bang. He's down. He's dead. How long is it going to last? I don't know. Does it matter? Kind of. Why do we keep punching down on Wally? That's the end of the video. Like, the video was supposed to end it was going to come out last week, and it was going to end with, they fixed Wally. They're not doing stupid with Wally anymore. Look, he's having adventures with his wife and his kids. They've done it. They've retconned out every problem with Wally, and now he got shot. I'll link you 1 Minute War down below if you want to see that awesome storyline and the storyline involving his kids meeting up with Superboy and Robin. And I'll link you Titans #1, which is probably going to be a cool story, but why? Wally. Also, did you really think I would believe you killed Wally? This is to you, Tom Taylor. I know you watch my videos. You don't, but this is to you. Why? Did anyone hit you up and really think you killed Wally West? Is that why you did it? We wouldn't believe it? Wally has a new #1 coming out next month, Tom. How does that line up, Tom? How does that line up? You couldn't have even faked me out with a character I haven't seen in a while? Kill Garth? Kill Donna? At least, I still wouldn't have believed they're dead, but at least I would have been like, oh no, maybe they are. Wally has a comic! Come on, Tom! All right, and that's it. Like, subscribe. Tom, if you're watching, I'd really appreciate a like and subscription. That'd be great. And turn on that notification bell. I am a fan, Tom. I'm on a first name basis with you, apparently. I hope you guys enjoyed my new co-host. Hopefully she'll be awake next time. Nope, she's out. I'll see you guys next time right here.